Men don't always realize how hurt they are. They suffer in silence. They put on a brave face. They make out and act like everything is okay because showing emotion for them is a sign of weakness. And whilst that's kind of true, it goes much deeper than that. When you don't realize how hurt you are, when you don't realize that your mental health is suffering, you start living, acting, and behaving in ways that are detrimental to you. One of the most toxic habits I picked up in my 20s was assuming that gambling and going to a casino and betting was a healthy outlet for my stress, my frustration, and for any depression at all. So the moment I felt down, the moment things weren't working out for me, the moment I was frustrated, annoyed, whatever, I would run to a casino and then I'd spend my entire evening there and blow all my money as well, betting and just passing time, distracting myself from what was really going on, what was really bothering me, my life circumstances at the time, situations that was going on in family and friends, maybe frustration in work. I just associated it with an escape. Another thing I did was, especially in the lockdowns in the pandemic, was due to a lot of stress with my father dying and getting ill, and it was a really tragic, difficult time, is, again, I would binge eat, maybe eat some potato chips, some chocolate. I never used to like chocolate. And it was to distract myself. Well, I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything. Can't see anyone. Might as well just eat to pass the time. These unhealthy habits, these behaviors were masking real suffering. And it goes much deeper than binge eating and going to casino and smoking or drinking, doing drugs. It's your decision making as well. For example, if you are a desperate, single, lonely man, you haven't had a date in God knows when, you can't catch a break with women, you can't even make eye contact with women successfully, or whatever, you are going to make a decision and a choice because you're hurting that will actually be so dangerous and detrimental to your life and future. And a fantastic and very common example of this is when a desperate, single, lonely man looks for any relationship he can get. Any woman that says yes, any woman that responds, any woman that replies, anything. Because he's hurting, because he's lonely, because he's desperate for some form of connection. What normally happens in these circumstances, and I've been there myself and many other men as well, is, like I said, through their hurt, through their pain, through their suffering, they will try and get whatever they can when it comes to a date. Miraculously, they will drop their standards, and most dangerously of all, they will ignore the red flags. By ignoring the red flags, they've suddenly got a date tonight. Suddenly, their fortune in their mind has changed. Suddenly, things are moving in their direction. And by that happening, he's actually operating on autopilot. By operating on autopilot, what I mean is he's hurting deep inside. He is like a zombie. He has no idea what he's doing, but he thinks and assumes that everything's going to be okay. Next thing you know, he's out on a date, wherever that is, and with whoever that is, and he thinks that his life is sorted now. Finally, I'm on a date. He says, finally, I'm with someone. That woman can say anything, do anything, and he wouldn't be paying attention because he's operating out of a feeling of hurt, of suffering and pain. So he goes on a date with a narcissist, a toxic woman, a selfish woman, an entitled woman who sees him coming, can smell the desperation from a mile away, like a shark, and is ready to pounce, is ready to sink her claws into him, to destroy his psyche, his life, and his future as well. By operating out of hurt, by operating out of desperation as well, this clueless man is now in a relationship. Then he's engaged. Then he's married. And then he's having children, getting a mortgage. And then only once the penny finally drops, once he's experiencing a new type of hurt, which is a toxic marriage, a toxic relationship, a toxic interaction in general, only then does he hurt in a completely different way and for completely different reasons. It's like a snowball. Snowballs grow larger and larger as they avalanche down mountains and hills. And in this prime case, this hurt man, who was originally hurt for being single and alone, is now hurting with the threat of divorce, a cheating wife, a toxic wife, an abusive wife, and a damaged, dysfunctional household with children. It's very dangerous. It's very scary, but it's happening more often than you think. It's the same with a career. A man who is hurting will plod along in a career that he absolutely despises. He will make financial decisions that he absolutely despises again, which will come to bite him on the backside in the future and hurt him even more because he was hurt to begin with. Great example of this again is overstretching himself financially. He thinks, I feel sad, I should get an expensive car. Goes and leases a Tesla. I feel sad, I need to live in an apartment that makes me feel happy. Goes and leases or signs a mortgage away to a property he cannot afford to live in. I feel sad, I want to get a Rolex. I feel sad. All these material things. And under the material banner of it being the remedy to his hurt, he overstretches himself, getting himself into debt, credit card debt. I feel sad, I should learn how to get a degree again and get a master's in a completely different course. And the education costs are astronomical on top of all the other debts. I feel sad, I just eat takeaways every night. I feel this. He doesn't realize he's hurting, or he does realize he's hurting, but he ignores it completely. And by ignoring it completely, he is digging himself a grave. And he is digging himself deeper and further down into the ground, into further suffering, despair, and pain. He doesn't realize it because if he realizes it and he acknowledges it, it's one of the most painful things a man or any person can do. It's sitting on the edge of your bed, completely alone, isolated alone, and staring at your suffering in the face, staring into the abyss, staring into your pain, staring into your worst fears, your huge, desperate, scary, dangerous nightmares, and then being comfortable with them. It's staring at the realization, I'm alone right now. It's staring at the realization, I have failed in whatever goal I wanted to achieve. It's staring at the fact that I've had my heart ripped out of me, stomped on the ground, and I am completely dissolute and I am completely broken. It's realizing that you've lost all your money. It's realizing that you've lost the person. It's realizing that life is tough and difficult and hard and unfair and unjust. And it's life. And what happens when these men stare that hurt in the face every day, repeatedly, for however long it takes, and they self-reflect? Answers start to come. And realizations come, such as, yes, I tragically lost my father, but it was his time. Now it's my time to live on in my own legacy and carry his legacy as well. I lost that money because I was desperate to be a success, but there's no such thing as a quick fix and get rich quick. I'm glad they broke my heart because there's someone out there for me who's not going to break my heart. I'm glad I got rejected a lot because I'd rather weed out all the time wasters and find somebody healthy, compatible for me, who isn't going to waste my time and is actually going to make me embrace my life even more. You become humbler as a man. You stop living on cloud nine and in a fantasy world and making excuses and thinking everything's going to be okay and being naive and being, somewhat immature. and you face reality head on. You face your truth head on. Like I said, the longer you face it, the harder you face it, the more brave and courageous you are by doing so, you start to get answers. It might not make sense to everyone else, it might not make sense to you, but then one day you pick yourself up after being so down and realizing that you're going to move in a new direction. Just yesterday, I was really down about something, really down, went straight to bed, didn't want to speak to anyone, really down. And then, call it God, influence, whatever it is, an idea came to me. And I've woken up with energy, with gall, with strength, with courage and bravery and an excitement into a new chapter as well. I want you to feel the same. Men don't always realize how hurt they are because they are distracting themselves and numbing themselves and hurting themselves even more in the process. Take stock, take account of your situation right now. Look at your life, reflect on your life right this second, because I'm telling you right now, you have to be the one that has to save yourself. You have to be the one that has to pick yourself up out of this hole, because nobody else will ever and is ever going to do it for you. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of my videos. Check out my course, The Power of Walking Away, and book a one-on-one coaching session with me for up to 90 minutes in the description below. And lastly, please do me a favor, share this video with someone who you think would really gain value from the message in it. Stop hurting yourself more with distraction. Face it head on. Seek help. Speak to someone if need be. Thank you so much for watching.